Inspiring athletes. If you can imagine the amount of time and sacrifices it takes to win a world title, now imagine chasing a championship with one less limb to compete with. That's what Aaron Cutler did. He's considered an adaptive athlete, but he doesn't consider himself disabled. And right now, he's on a mission to inspire others.
I hope to spend the next few years continuing to set a new bar for what's possible.
I went to Naples to share why this world champ chose a unique sport in hopes of inspiring more adaptive athletes. Here's the story.
Feels like the coolest thing ever.
When you watch Aaron Cutler launch himself into the air and flip over the water, it's hard to believe this wakeboarding world champion is relatively new to the sport. And he'll admit this didn't come naturally.
The first time I went wakeboarding, I hopped in the water to try, and I failed miserably.
Cutler says struggling to wakeboard motivated him to master the sport.
I knew what the potential was for the sport and what the need was for someone to come in and become really proficient in how to wakeboard with one hand.
Because as a one-handed athlete, Cutler has spent his whole life learning to adapt.
When I was in kindergarten, I saw all my friends, they were learning to tie their shoes. Once I understood how a knot worked, I was able to invent a way for me to tie my own shoes. That was probably like my first experience with having to overcome something without a particular roadmap on how to accomplish it. And I think it set me up pretty well. Even something so small as learning to tie your shoes kind of became this characteristic of I'll always figure out a way to accomplish whatever it is that I see in front of me.
After 30 years of tackling obstacles and breaking barriers, Cutler moved to Florida last fall with a new goal.
My goal in moving down to Florida to seriously devote time and energy to wakeboarding was to come in and set a bar for what's possible for an adaptive wakeboarder and continue to improve that bar.
Aaron's been really interesting to work with because he came at me and he had like a lot of passion to wakeboard well.
Well enough to become the first adaptive athlete to land this move and to claim the 2018 world title.
That was a moment that made me really proud as a wakeboarder.
Cutler says he's most proud, though, when he can inspire and teach other adaptive athletes.
My hope from here is to devote a large portion of my time to finding potential adaptive athletes and teaching them to set a new bar for what's possible.
And Aaron Cutler says he plans to host clinics at Naples Wakeboard to teach anyone how to pick up the sport.